Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, and we have Eric in the back ready to come on, and we are going to get into the thick of things right away because we got a lot of topics to cover today. So let me go ahead and get rid of this copyright disclaimer. This channel may use some copyrighted materials without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act, which is the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk, High Strange, this podcast channels, and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content, including the music, to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes, criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only. And let's not forget the entertainment value. Under Section 17, subsection 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known as the Fair Use Act. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let me get that off of there and say good morning to everybody. Good morning, everybody. Okay, hold on here. Let me
Top of the morning to ya.
Get up to that picture to take it off of there. All right, how are we doing, Eric?
I am peachy. Been working on my one of my books. I've been trying to get some writing done since I've been through the evidence, and just finished chapter 4 to the Two Brothers War and Turmoil. Started chapter 5, and I was kind of going through and re-going over chapter 4 before we went on backstage. So I like to try to pre-through the chapter every time I finish it.
Oh, thank you, Stuart. Yeah. Yeah, you've been hitting a grindstone with writing them books out, brother. So that's good. We got a lot of topics to cover, a lot of them. I want to talk about CERN. I want to talk about the eclipse. I want to talk about NASA, otherwise known as Satan. And several other 3-letter agencies out there where I want to discuss today, all building up to the April 8th event. It's astonishing to me how much information is coming out about the April 8th eclipse. Where we're located, we're within that 90 percentile. So I think you're in the 100 percentile, to experience it.
Hey, I'm on the edge of it. Yeah, It's a little further east than I am, but yeah, I'm close to it.
Yeah, because we're in the 90. I know that we'll get at least 90% of the effects. Now, when you were on your program the other night, I left in the chat. I put in the chat that make sure everybody that we know knows to put the name of God, the real name of God, on their door. Okay, and it has to be done in oil. It can be olive oil. I mean, it could be any type of oil. Okay, I use anointing oil. I have anointing oil that comes strictly from the Israel area. Okay, it's basically frankincense and myrrh. Okay, and I use that combination, which, by the way, smells fantastic on everything that I bless. And I'm not saying this because I'm not Catholic. Okay, I'm Native American. I'm very spiritual, and I use the Christian faith as my base because I believe in Yeshua, and that's the name that needs to be written on the door is Yeshua. Okay, um, in some of my intros, I have the actual name of God in one of the intros, and it's very easy to put it on your door. But I would say if you're not even Catholic, if you're not even a Christian, I would still recommend that you bless your door, okay, of your home, because you want your family to be safe. You don't want anything adverse to happen to your family. So, that being said, I'm going to go through a couple tips today too that I've found that might help you. And then again, it might not. I mean, it's like playing a game of putt putt golf with the hole twice as small as the ball that you're putting with. So, the ball's never going to go into that hole because it's too small. Well,
Mm.
that's kind of what we're doing here with this April 8th thing. Okay. We're making all these putts and we're just guessing that it might eventually go into that hole and protect us. Okay. So, with that being said, I'm going over today. A lot of people have been asking me about the April 8th thing. I had one comment last night before I passed out from exhaustion, which, by the way, I'm doing last night's podcast tonight at 10:30. Um, but you know, they're asking me, what's going to happen during the April 8th event. They're asking me about the CERN thing. What's NASA up to? Why are they doing this? And I don't know if anybody's heard, but NASA is actually planning on firing off a couple rockets during the eclipse. Okay. And what they want to do is they want to shoot these rockets at the basically at the shadow of the moon and see what happens. Now, science would dictate that if you're an idiot, you shouldn't play with rockets. Okay. So why don't you leave the rockets up to the ones that really are intellectually up to it and have a commitment to mankind's um, wanting to coexist with all things, and let the Elon Musks of the world do it. NASA is running rampant, as I like to call them. I call them Satan. Just unscramble the words and take the red little slash and use it as the T, and you got the word Satan. That's what I call NASA. Okay. To me, it's just another three-letter, four-letter agency. That's all they're ever going to be. Um, but yeah, there's so much on that topic. Okay, and then you have CERN and the Vatican during the eclipse. did any of you out there realize that CERN is going to turn on the world's largest hadron collider and during the eclipse and try to open basically the gates of hell? They're wanting to open up the portal to the bottomless pit. Okay. So, that being said, not only do we have NASA shooting rockets at the shadows of the solar eclipse, but now we've got CERN wanting to do something during the eclipse also. And we all know CERN is presented themselves in a satanic manner. Okay. But CERN needs to realize that they don't have the permission from the entire world to do what they're doing because it could jeopardize the entire world. Okay. CERN is like a bunch of little spoiled rich kids that get their monthly allotted money and they go out and buy a Lamborghini every month. No matter how many they've got in the garage, they always want more and more and more. Okay. That's kind of what CERN is. Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go. Thank you, Eric, for answering that.
Not a problem. Sorry, it took me a second to do it.
Now, there's also another way to write it too, and that's Yahusha. So, but it's the same thing. It's basically the same thing. You got Yahweh, and then you got Yahusha, which Yahusha is the name of God. That's what you want to write above your door frame, okay, or on the front door of your home during the eclipse. I'm going to start. I'm going to start on the 7th and mark my doors, and I'm going to end it on the 10th just to make sure that we're past that 3 days of darkness type of thing. Now that we've discussed CERN and we've discussed NASA doing all of these weird experiments, I'm going to bring something up to everybody right now. Corey, I'm glad to see you in there. Cynthia, great to see you. Glades Creatures, good to see you. Stuart, good to see you. I'm sorry if I missed some names. I know I missed a whole bunch. You are the reason we are here, and the reason we go on. Like I said, I do want to apologize to everybody for last night's show. I didn't get it off the ground because I just, to be honest with everybody, I was emotionally and mentally exhausted and I passed out. Okay. I just passed out. So I apologize for not getting into the red rabbit hole off, but I'm going to be going that over tonight at 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight. I'll be doing Into the Red Rabbit Hole, and it'll be basically the same stuff we're talking about here. Now, one thing, Prospecting USA, good to see you. Rhonda, good to see you. Not only do we have CERN and NASA to worry about during the whole solar eclipse thing, we have pestilence to worry about. From Massachusetts on down to Texas, there is going to be the largest cicada bug outbreak that the United States has ever seen. And if you compare the cicada bug to those that are written about in the book of Revelations, you could almost see the comparison that these bugs would have if seen back in the days of old, and how to describe them. The cicadas are a big, ugly, nasty bug, and they're loud. They can drive you literally insane if you hear their sounds repeatedly for hours on end. That's just another thing that's happening during this whole solar eclipse thing. Um, then, and if you want to know another thing that's happening, get a load of this. We have the Satan comet, the Satan asteroid, the Satan, whatever you want to freaking call it, that is plunging towards our world as we speak. That's going to basically miss our Earth by very little. Okay. If it doesn't miss the Earth, it's going to graze the atmosphere and bounce off. Okay. I think if it hits, I don't know. There is a prophecy, a prediction in the Bible that Nashville, Tennessee will be hit with something fiery ball from outer space. Okay. So we have to keep that in mind. If you live in Nashville, Tennessee area, you might want to take the whole weekend off or whatever and get out of there and watch it from a distance. Because you don't know. Prophecies are prophecies, okay? Prophetic words that people say. Um, there's one guy on the internet that I watch quite a bit. And his name is Joseph Z. Um, he basically does a lot of he goes back like to 2018 and 2019 and replays his prophetic words to current things that are happening today, like the container ship that so suddenly turned towards the bridge and hit the bridge in Baltimore and basically knocked the entire steel girders down to the ground by hitting one little part of the bridge. Now, several people, several good people lost their lives. The construction crew there was 4 from the construction crew that was on the bridge that lost their lives and that are missing still. Now my hat goes off to all the officers, the law enforcement officers there at the bridge entrances, because they stopped several vehicles from going on the bridge and probably saved quite a few people's lives. So, kudos to them. May Yeshua bless them and keep them safe. But for the families of the fallen on that bridge collapse, my heart goes out to you. I'll pray for you. I wish you nothing but healing and joy from this tragedy. Okay. But we need to also talk about that event too. So meaning no disrespect to the fallen on that bridge collapse. I think that we need to discuss this. Um, there was a prediction made on the cover of one of magazines, most famous magazines, where it showed the basically the presidents of each country that would be at war at this time of the year. It showed a container vessel with container cargoes on it and a bridge in the background, which is kind of like correlating the whole incident there. Somehow another, something or someone or some being is telling us, they're giving us these hints that these things are going to happen. We just don't receive these hints and logically look at them and say, well, could this happen? I mean, there was no way. I mean, no way in the world would anybody have thought that a container ship 1,000 foot long would lose power, loosely, air quotes, and hit the bridge. How are we going to predict that? You can't. Okay, but one magazine cover did predict it. And I don't know if it was Newsweek. It was Newsweek or something along that lines that predicted it. happening, and they predicted the wars happening and the whole 9 yards. They had a big blow up of it, and it showed, President Putin, President Biden. It showed the Chinese and the North Koreans and all that, and it showed a bomb going off, and like I said, the container ship and all that with the bridge. It had a lot of comparisons to what happened recently in our world. Okay, and to basically be able to predict something like that is prophetic. Okay, it's you're getting it from somewhere. Yeah, and the black box is missing too. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Ryder, you're right. The black box is missing. And did you notice they only had the one camera angle from the CCTV footage? They only had the one angle out of all the and you guys know as well as I do that DC and Maryland area around DC there's thousands of cameras. Thousands. Okay. There's like 6 cameras on every intersection. So, I mean, they could have gotten more than what they had. Just, basically played to the public. So, but good morning, Penny. Good to see you. But yeah, there's just so many different things that led up to this, and they're claiming that the ship lost power, but I don't think that was the case. And I'm not saying this to be mean towards our administration by any way, shape, or form, and I don't mean to be mean about the NTSB or whoever's doing the investigation, because it looked to me, just by watching it, the ship's movements prior to even getting close to that bridge shows you that they basically were plotting a course to do that anyways. Because a ship that's 1,000 foot long is not going to turn on a dime. Okay, the cavitation alone going that sharp to try and make the ship turn that sharp of an angle or a turn, whether it's to the port or to the starboard, you're going to have cavitation. And I'm sure Eric knows about cavitation being on ships, but it's where you're like hitting this. It's like hitting a heavy wind repeatedly and having it bounce off the nose of your vehicle. Okay, that you're in. That's cavitation. Cavitation shakes the whole thing. And I think if they were attempting to steer clear of it, you would have seen some form of cavitation from the rudder, even if the motors weren't running. And the motors on a ship that size aren't going to shut down right away anyways. If the power's off, those props are still going to be turning for at least 2-3 minutes. And that's plenty of time for them to actually steer it into the structure. Now this is just, my thoughts on it, my perceptions of what I saw. Okay.
Well,
I don't know, Eric.
They're also failing to tell you a very important thing. Every ship, yes, is controlled by air and hydraulics on the deal, but every ship has a cutoff situation that if the motor goes bad, they go back to the steering wheel, which doesn't take motors. It doesn't take power to steer the ship. So that whole thing screams set up all the way. I mean, 100%. And on top of that, like I said in the comments earlier, how are you going to drop the port side anchor and your ship hits hard starboard right into the damn bridge? Sorry, folks, that crap don't happen.
Without no cavitation, too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, there were several things like little explosions that happened just like a split second before the ship hit the bridge. You see explosions. And then all of a sudden, like a split second later, you see the impact where it looks like it was all tied together. There is a lot of stuff, with the 2.5 minutes missing on the black box, like I think it was Wu said a few minutes ago. There is a lot of stuff going wrong with that picture. It's, and this is something I agree with Dan Bongino on very cold heartedly. Don't take the very first evidence that comes out about something. Wait 3 or 4 days, then start making a speculation, because the truth usually comes out within a 3 or 4 day period. Dan Bongino is very correct when it comes to that right there. 100%. I'll have to look that up, prospecting. I didn't know that. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's there's man, there's on everything you talked about. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's like I've said on here many times. Look what's happening in the news prior to this happening. You got Biden's in deep trouble. I mean, deep trouble with his foreign dealings. And then you got D Diggity, or whatever that dumbass's name is. You got him who got in trouble for child trafficking. And then all of a sudden, bam, you get a ship that hits a bridge. I mean, it just happens every time somebody important gets in trouble. Some disaster happens because they don't want you to look here. They want you to look here. You guys
let's
have
not
to
forget
remember
it
that.
happened before Easter. It happened before Easter holiday too, which is, the day Christ rose. So,
Well, that's how the Christians celebrate it. It's not the actual day, but yes, that's when the Christians celebrate it. Yeah. I
right.
done a special the other day on the truth about Easter. It's like a lot of our holidays. The Christians had taken it over on a pagan side of it to bring it, because it was easier to convert people if it was something familiar to them. So, and that's, Easter's one of those. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. And I always tell everybody, celebrate it how you want to celebrate it, man. I ain't going to pick and choose. But no, there's a lot of things
Exactly.
playing into it. I mean, the same with the darkness. The darkness is the same way. You can't just sit there and focus on one view of this. When Native Americans would discuss something, they sat in a circle. That's because everybody had a view of this thing in a different perspective. When they took a break and came back in, they sat in another spot, which gave them another view and another perspective of this thing they're talking about. We have to do the exact same thing with stuff that comes out nowadays in the news or whatever it is. We have to look at it at many perspectives, many angles, in order to get to the truth. And the truth is, y'all, it's right there hitting you in the damn face if you just wake up and look at it.
Yep.
That's what I
Exactly.
was wondering. That's why I was wondering. That was one thing I was looking at. Woo, my curiosity was how that happened, like milliseconds before the ship actually hit the bridge. That's where I was like, could this be explosions? It's possible. That's kind of what I was looking at it. Yes, it did prospecting. It went out 3 different times. The last time, you can still see the smoke in the air from the engines, which tells me if they lost power and they lost engines, how were they billowing smoke out? Not to mention, CERN just came out with a statement the other day, captured a 4D phantom in their hydrant. I did not know about that. We won't have to look that up. But look, I talked about this a little bit Thursday on my Easter special that I did. It was just, I like to do a special on holidays every great once in a while. We have a new era that we're about to come into, folks. Right now, we're living in that pantomime. And one of the things that's going to issue in this new era is a 10 days of darkness. So I posed this question on that video, and I posed this question to you guys today. Is the 3 days of darkness we're getting ready to have, which is odd how you're mobilizing the National Guard for an eclipse, hint, hint. Is this a precursor to the 10 days of darkness, or is this 3 days of darkness the start of the 10 days of darkness? That's something for you guys to think about. But it's awful interesting how they're mobilizing the National Guard just for a freaking eclipse.
Right. And the fact too that they're not only doing the National Guard, that there's several other things that are going on at the same exact time, that those people that are going to be exposed to, that are out watching the eclipse, are going to be exposed to whatever CERN is doing and NASA is doing, you know? I mean, why would NASA want to shoot rockets up into a dark void? And how can they predict that nothing adverse is going to happen to our planet and our planetary system? That how can they even predict it? Because they can't. They're like throwing a dart. It's like a blind guy throwing a dart at a dartboard. The odds of him hitting the dartboard is going to be very few and far in between. But when he does hit the dartboard, you're going to know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the whole universe around you is going to scream and shout, "Hey, he did it!" You know, and it's that same theory. You know, NASA needs to stop poking at things that they don't understand. Smithsonian's got to stop hiding things that they don't want people to know about. And CERN's just got to stop being stupid, okay? And stop trying to open up all these portals and all these bottomless pits. And, you know, it might do them a little bit of good to listen to some of the average people in the world that actually give a damn. So, I don't know. I mean, there's just so much that is happening in such a short time span. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all have noticed too that here lately there's a lot more paranormal activity and supernatural activity. It's ramping up. Okay. And you know, it's like I've always said, we need to connect the dots because there is a connection between all these events that are happening and all these predictions that are happening. There is one thing that we need to do, and that's what I always say: question everything, plain and simple.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean, you know, we've hit on this before about the supernatural and the paranormal activities. You know, is it from CERN or is it because we stopped practicing the old ways and using rod iron to keep things enclosed in an area? Both of them very big possibilities. And far as we know, it could be the combination of the two. You know, it's hard to say. Um, Yeah, so I mean that's why I posed that question. You know that last time we talked about this, what could it be? I mean, look what's happened since we stopped practicing a lot of the old ways. I mean, so much stuff has come out. Not only that, but you know, it like you said with the concern. Look at all the evil stuff we're doing. I mean, there is so much evil stuff we're doing now. When you when you deal with evil, you bring evil in. You have to remember that. You know, it's a lot like your vibes and
Right.
your energy in your body. If you are always negative, then you're going to have negative persona come out. If you're always positive, you'll have a positive persona come out. This plays not just in your body, folks. This plays on everything in the universe. I mean, you have to remember that. You know, so when you're dealing with dark stuff is going to happen. It is really going to happen. So, you know, just something food for thought, folks. I mean, really, it's a food for thought. You know,
Right.
I try to be
Exactly.
positive. I'm human. Do I have a negative tendency from time to time? Yeah, people piss me off from time to time. You know, that happens. Usually I don't let it consume me like I used to. I start going, hey, I need to get off this level and raise myself back up to a higher level. I have to do that. Not just for myself, but for anybody around me, because my negativity not only affects me, but also affects those around you. So you have to remember that your projection affects everybody around you. It's like like the Native Americans talk about, you know, in the great circle of life, every little drop of pebble in that water causes another ring, another circle, which affects the great circle. Everything around it will feel it. If there's a rock in the middle of that circle, your ring or your circle will affect that rock. It will hit that rock. That's all the same way. Good morning, Tracy.
It's
So
we
you
call the
have to
ripple
remember
effect.
that. Yes.
Yeah,
We're
we
all
call it the
connected.
ripple effect, folks. Yeah. Now the
We're all
ripple effect is
connected.
due to Yeah. The ripple effect, though, is the best way to describe the ripple effect is, say you're walking past this pond and you toss a rock, a big rock into the pond, and that ripple is going to go across the entire surface of that water. It's going to disturb the
Mhm.
frogs and the fish that are in that pond. It's going to hit that
Mhm.
little sapling that has the one leaf on it left before winter's fall, and that leaf is going to fall prematurely. It affects everything. Okay, that's what the ripple effect is
Mhm.
is described as. And the way
Yeah.
CERN and NASA are basically poking at things that they can't comprehend. I don't care how smart of a rocket scientist they are. Um, you cannot predict 100% accuracy on what they're messing with. Okay, there's no
No.
way. That's like that'd be like me taking Eric out to Colorado, even though I don't live in Colorado, and show him the Bigfoot out there. Walk right up on Bigfoot and say, "Hey, Eric, here's Bigfoot. Bigfoot, meet Eric." No, it ain't gonna happen. Okay, that's not the way it works. I can't predict that any more than NASA and CERN can predict what their outcome is going to be. Okay, so they're doing these tests basically without a concern for us as human beings living on this planet. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know I didn't vote them to be the one to do these tests. I didn't say, okay, yeah, you got my permission, go ahead and do it. Did they even bother to ask? No. These elite a-holes decided to do it themselves without asking the citizens that live on this planet, that pay the taxes, that pay their dues every day they get up and go to work, that pay for the school systems, that pay for their beakers and all their little gadgets in their laboratories. They didn't ask us shit. They really didn't. So, if something happens, don't blame us. Blame CERN and blame NASA, because whoever gave them idiots the opportunity to do this is an idiot themselves. Plain and simple.
Yeah, Freaky, you're absolutely correct. That happens a lot. Even though there's actually laws in place to protect whistleblowers, that they're no more protected than we
Hey,
are.
Juno. Freaky.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a sad thing, but it's true because they don't want the narrative out there. They don't want people. They want you to remain a sheeple. They want you to remain a paid slave,
Yeah.
and they'll do whatever they can to keep that happening. So you have to be cautious on that stuff. You know, it's
Hey, Puck
it's a
Elf.
sad deal. But so there's definitely a lot of stuff going on. It's like I've said, quite a few times on here about the new era we're going into, a new life for humanity. It will be prosperous, it will be good if you're awake to what's true. And that's what I like to do. This stuff is because I try to help as many people. I've got a very soft heart, and I care too much for everybody. Even though people probably don't deserve it, I care too much and don't want to see somebody fall behind. Even though I know that people are going to fall behind, I don't want to, and I want to try to help out everybody that I can. I grew up for a
Right.
long time remembering what we was taught in the modern Christian era about the end of days, the end of time. And I'm like, why can't we save everybody? Why there has to be a way to save everybody. Is there a way, is there something we can do instead of destroying these people and destroying this planet that we can save it? Because there has to be a way. I was always that way. I've always questioned everything because that's just my nature. Something just does not feel right and I question it and I want to try to get to the bottom of it. It's just there's a lot of stuff. That's why I don't. I
Right.
mean, I'll be honest. I don't read the King James Bible anymore. There's just too much stuff in that is contradicting. I guess is a good way to say it. If you study it, man, I ain't going to fault you. Study it. I've studied it for many years, but I study more of the ancient stuff than I do the modern stuff, because the ancient stuff actually clicks better, actually flows better. The Torah and stuff like that. Even the clay tablets from the Samaria. Even the Quran. All of it is
Right.
very, very similar, and you can learn by studying this stuff.
Exactly.
Wait
Exactly.
gently but quickly. Yeah, freaky. I do. I mean, a guy can walk up right now and piss me the hell off to the point I want to bust his teeth down the back of his throat, but I'm still going to pray that his soul gets saved. I mean, it's just how I am.
Hey, you're not.
I don't.
You're being an angry fluffy.
I am. I'm an angry fluffy guy. Yeah, and I used to be very bad at anger. I actually went through anger management because I was so full. I've talked about this a few times. I had a very dark time in my life. There was a period in my life that I was full of hate and anger because I was just tired of everything negative happening around me, and I just didn't care no more. And my daughter's being born is what saved me from that path, that dark path. I've said this a few times. There's two roads in life that you travel. You got the red road, which is rocky, it's hard, and you're going to struggle. But when you get to the end of that road, the rewards are more than you can ever fathom. Then you have the black road. It's smooth, it's flat, it's easy. But when you get to the end, there's no reward, you know. And I was walking down that black road at one time. I've recently readjusted my paths and started back down the red road. Am I struggling with bills? Am I struggling with stuff every single day? You're absolutely right. I am. I am fighting every single day to keep myself on, keep me up on my 2 feet and a roof over my kid's head. I do that every single day, folks. But you know what? I'm not going to complain about it. It's life. I mean, I will keep going on. I'm not going to let it drag me down. I do these shows because I love people. And I mean, I'm not a real people person. I'll be honest. I don't like being around people a whole lot. I have to take groups of people in strides. I don't know what it is. Ever since coming back from Iraq, and I'll be honest with you, ever since coming back from Iraq in the military, large groups of people unsettle me. And a lot of it has to do because there's so much negativity out there that when I feel it start seeping inside of me, I can feel it manifesting in me. I have to get away. And I come back here to my sacred place, my place of peace. And I recenter that and I push that negativity out to bring the positivity back in. So you have to find ways in your life to do that stuff. And dealing with this stuff we see every day with CERN, with these boats, with these politicians, with these famous people, with things in general, when it comes to life in the world, you have to find a place to exit from that, to expel that negativity and bring that positivity back into you, folks, or it's going to eat you alive. I mean, I know that firsthand. I can say that with 100% confidence because I lived that for a long time. So that's why I do this stuff, and I try to teach people, find you that place, recenter your soul, bring that positive, take the positivity and the positive energy from Mother Earth and put it back inside of you. Expel the evil and the negativity and bring in the positive and the good. You have to do that, folks. Otherwise, this stuff will eat you alive. I stopped watching TV and the news quite a bit. I very, very rarely watch TV anymore because it's just too negative. You know, that's just how it is. So when we're talking about this stuff, um, there's going to be negativity involved. And that's where you got to go back and recenter yourself afterwards. But you learn from it. And that's it. You have to learn, good or bad, you have to learn from it. But you have to have an open mind.
True, very true.
I could barely handle humans more. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I mean, like I said, the closest thing I can describe it is because there's so much negativity. I mean, I could be wrong. That could be only part of it. I have no clue why. But since I came back from Iraq and I came back from the military, I do not do well in large groups of people. I have a very hard time doing that. I'm very solitary. Um, I like my peace. I like my quiet. I like my calm. And out there is chaos and is negative, and I don't do well in it.
Yeah.
To
We
a
all
point,
know.
Penny, you are correct.
Yeah, we all know that we all go through things. There's that saying that that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But
Yep.
what do we want strong? Do we want to be physically strong, or do we want to be spiritually strong? And to me,
Right.
that phrase means spiritually. Um, when you walk in the world that is so much activity with the paranormal and supernatural, and then you kick the cryptids in on top of that, and the UFO and alien thing on top of that, that's enough stress to deal with on a daily basis. Not to mention all the other rigmaroles that we have to go through in our daily lives. And it's not just me. It's everybody. That has to go through things. And I had a really trying last couple days, really, really bad. And I even told Eric this morning, that I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this anymore. I don't want to stop doing the podcast, but how long can I actually do it anymore? I don't know. Um, so we were talking about that before we came on, and you know, it's not the fact that I'm heartbroken that that I'm getting to the point where I'm getting progressively worse. But I'm more heartbroken that you know I don't want this family that we have here to break up in any way, shape, or form from something that happens to me. I That's why I hope this thing will go on, you know, uh, long after I'm gone. Because you all, irregardless of whether we want to be around people or not, we need each other. Okay, we do, and all the negativity in the world can't change that. Okay, we need each other. We are spiritual energy that needs to have other spiritual energy to interact with. You know, so that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I'm replying to a comment. I love you guys, man. You guys have some awesome comments in here. Yeah, I can't even spell. uh,
Yeah, Stuart,
oh.
yeah, that's right, Stuart. That's why we're all here. That's for sure.
Yeah,
And like
that,
like minds think alike. They do. They do. We may not agree on everything, but at least we are able enough to bring things up to talk about it here. Every morning. So
Corey, I agree with you on that. I really do. Um, we this is not the end. What's fixing to happen is not the end of us. It is a we will those awake will be brought to a higher dimension. We go from a third dimension to the fourth and fifth. We will be at a higher dimension, a higher level of life. We'll be back to the way we are meant to be, not how we were. What's a polite way of putting this on here? Not how we were forced to be now, but how we are meant to be. Um, so we will definitely see each other again. Wow, that's interesting, Freaky.
yeah, definitely.
Good morning, Mary. So
Yeah, good
you
morning,
you
Mary.
have to focus on that, and that's why I'm always constantly saying you got to think positive. You got to be positive, because if you ain't positive and negativity controls you, then you'll never ascend to that higher level of consciousness, that higher being. You'll not get back to your true being. That's why I'm always preaching go back to the old ways, learn from your ancestors, learn from the ancient ways. You have
Right.
to get back to them
Yep.
because then, people say they lived a hard life back then. In some ways, yeah, they did. I mean, in some ways they did. A scratch on the arm could kill you back then, from what we're taught. Now, that I don't agree necessarily was 100% true, because there is plenty of evidence stating that they were probably at a higher level than we were, and probably had um, more knowledge on things than we did. We always
Right.
claim we're the what's how do I put this? We're at a higher level of knowledge than what our ancestors. Yeah, prospecting. Yeah, we are at a higher level than what our ancestors were. I really don't subscribe to that, because we can't do things that they could do. I mean, they have done things with supposedly just rocks and chisels and ropes that we can't even do with modern equipment. So, how could we be at a higher level of consciousness than they were? Nah, I seriously doubt that, Penny. I seriously doubt that. See, and I'll be honest with you. Going back and trying to practice more of the old ways has really brought a better self being for me out. I mean, this is just me. I mean, for me, it's brought a more of a self being out, a more better me than I was when I lived in the now times. Do I use modern stuff like this to help with people? You're absolutely right. I do. But there's still a lot. Yeah, there's still a lot of things out there. I mean, I take, I take things very. What's the word? I take them to heart. Yesterday I was talking to William backstage. I was mowing, and I made one pass, and that was not there. And then I came back from another pass, and that was. To me, that's a gift. That's a gift. It was given to me. It was put there for me. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been there. I would have been there when I made my first one.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a disabled vet, Penny, and I live, it's just me and my youngest daughter now. My oldest daughter has moved out of the home. It's just me and my youngest daughter now. So I mean, I get you. I mean, there's a lot of things I can't do no more that I used to be able to do when I was younger. I spent 13 years jumping out of helicopters. I've been a diesel mechanic, a farmer, and I fought. My body is tore up. I mean, it is tore up, but I will not let that hold me down. And you have the power of life and death in your tongue, folks. If you are always speaking down about yourself, you will be down. You have to speak positivity, and you have to speak life into you, and you have to get up and push past it. Is it going to hurt? You'll have pains, but the more you do it, the less of the pains come. The more you talk positivity, the less of that stuff happens. You have to speak positive, and you have to speak life.
Right. And
You have to.
it's kind of the way we need to look at things too. And we really just touched the tip of the iceberg on the whole thing of visualizing things. Like with us, the Aboriginal people of the Americas sitting in a circle, okay, and say there's a drum in the circle, a rawhide drum that we use to play the songs and to sing to, okay, and say it's sitting there and it's on the quad poles, and we're all sitting in a circle around that drum. Each one of us in that circle is going to picture that drum in a different manner. We're going to see it from different angles, from different perspectives, okay? And that's what makes us individual. Okay, that's what gives us our individuality, and that's what gives us our spiritual strength, because we have that ability, that innate ability to take something from one angle and look at it, and then move position to another angle and see it from that perspective. Okay, and that's the point I'm trying to make with the cryptid community and the paranormal community as a whole. We need to look at things at every angle. Okay. Columbus and whoever else came to this country way back in the old days didn't listen to the indigenous people of this land. They didn't listen to the warnings of the giants, the warnings of the big lizards, the warnings of wolves that stood 4 feet on all fours that would eat the face off of other animals. I mean, they didn't they didn't like to be told that there was giants at one time that jumped from mountaintop to mountaintop. You know, they didn't like to be told that there were things in the rivers that would make a human being disappear. They didn't like being told not to go to certain areas that we deemed sacred, and they walk there anyways, and they disappear. You know, the majority of the problems in the paranormal, the supernatural, and the cryptid realms, and all of the things that go with that, are because we don't see things from different angles, and we're not open-minded enough to think, well, hey, maybe Bill is right, maybe Eric is right. Why don't I take a little bit of each of what they taught me and come to my own conclusion too? And maybe I can enhance their way of seeing it. We're all here for that purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that we started this podcast channel, is to try and gain a knowledge of things happening around us that we wouldn't been able to do by ourselves. So plain and simple. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. We have things that we go through for specific reasons. And if you all knew what I went through the last couple days, you would be amazed that I would still be here on a Saturday morning talking with you all. Because I literally felt like giving up. And, somehow or another, God showed me a way through all the turmoil and just the crap that I had to deal with. And gave me a way to take and turn a very bad couple days, a very heartbreaking couple days, into something to look forward to. And that's only because of the path that we walk. If we walk this world with blinders on, okay, like horses, we only see what's in front of us. Okay. You take the blinders off and you can see everything. Okay. And if you're really good, you can see the things in between the areas of our vision that scientists call invisible zones, basically, where other entities exist. Okay. It's kind of like how I say I walk in both worlds. I do. I see things, I hear things, and things interact with me no matter where I'm at. Okay. That's just the way my life has been my whole life. And, do I regret doing anything to make it happen? No, I don't regret anything, because I was taught at a very young age to kind of look at things differently, you know, not to pick things apart so much that they become tattered, and torn. There was a group of people that came together and wanted to start basically a paranormal group, okay? And they wanted to come up with this really cool name. Okay, everybody's got a ghost hunting group with a really cool name, or a really cool logo, or a cool 4-letter, letters in a row type of a thing, combination. But I looked right at one of the guys and I said, why don't you just call it Tattered Souls? And he looked at me and he goes, Tattered Souls? I said, yeah. I said, because you all are looking for something. and you're not going to be able to find it until you realize that your soul is tattered and torn, and you heal. And during your investigations, the healing process will begin. You know, that's the whole purpose of why we come together.
Mhm.
That's the kind of mentality and vision that we need to have. We need to have that. We need to look farther beyond the horizon. You know what I mean? And that's the hardest thing to do, especially when you're dealing with cryptids and
Yeah.
paranormal and supernatural stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, Bishop Long can tell you himself, how difficult it is to deal with the supernatural stuff. Dennis Carroll, I mean, he's a good one. He can, you want to know anything supernatural, talk to that man. He's my brother. But and then there's G, Gerald, that and his wife Chiro Sounds that Jane, that they their expertise is pretty much all around too now, because they looked at it, they came to realize that there's more than just what meets the eye. Okay,
Mhm.
it's more than just what we see. It's what we feel, it's what we taste within our mouth when we breathe through our mouth, it's what we see, it's what we hear. Okay, it's everything. Okay, until you get everything involved into looking at something, whether it's paranormal, supernatural, or cryptid, you're not going to look at it the whole way you're capable of. You have to use everything that you were given by the creator to look at things. Take those blinders off, step out of your comfort zone. you know that's what you have to do. you know
Well,
as much as I don't like hanging around a bunch of people, because obviously it makes me nervous, but I don't want to like have something go wrong with me physically in front of a bunch of people, because that would make me feel like I'm imposing upon them. So that's why I kind of keep my distance now. But it doesn't mean I'm not willing to help. you
oh
know
yeah. Here's a good representation of something like what we're talking about when we're seeing things at different angles. I found this yesterday when I was out in my woods. When you look at this I found this because this is a very interesting rock I found. I've actually sent pictures to Roger with mud fossils because this find this interesting. Now, this we may have the same concept of the view, but it's still different. When you turn it this way, you see something totally different
It will
than I
crumble.
do. We have to look at things differently. But I mean, I picked this up because this kind of spoke out to me. It kind of came across to me, and I was like, this is kind of different and unique. So, as you can see, as we said at different angles, we see the same object, but we see it differently. You guys see it different than what I see it at my angle versus at your angle. So, I mean, this is a good physical representation. When you're looking at something, exact same thing, but you're seeing it differently than I'm seeing it. And that's where we come together.
Right, exactly, and that's our
That
whole
thing is
point of
heavy.
having this community.
Yeah. Good morning, War Criminal. So I mean,
Anyways,
that's what I
if
love
you all
about
can
this.
like, heart, and share this out and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated.
Heck yeah. You know,
Yeah,
give this man much love.
we have I'm actually going to be doing a couple videos too for the channel, since you know I'm going to stick with the regular format that we have, but last night I just couldn't do the red rabbit hole, so I'm doing it tonight. Okay. And it's going to be pretty much the same thing. But I kind of wanted to get more into the aspect of the Smithsonian and why they're hiding things from us. So that's pretty much going to be the premise of the show tonight at 10:30 Eastern. Um, but when you see things from different angles, you can see things around us every day that just look really, really out of place. Okay. And I'm going to show you a couple examples of that. Okay. Take, for instance, this. What do you see
Oh,
here, Eric?
I see a spine.
Exactly.
That looks like vertebrae. 100%.
Exactly. Okay. Now, would you say this next picture is a match?
Holy, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can see
Okay.
that
Now,
as
that
either being
is
that
my
or
point.
two swords side by side. Yeah.
Exactly. That is my point. That is my exact point in reference to why we are talking about what we're talking about today. Things have been hidden from us for way too long. Okay. And until we are at a point where we're demanding to know the truth from the elitists that control the truth and the narrative, we're never going to know our history. We're never going to know why
Mm-hmm.
we're here or where we came from, anything. So, but they keep us away from learning things and experiencing things. Okay. Now, let me see here if this is one of them too. Let me see here. Yeah, this one here. You can take this and you can literally probably prop that up anywhere in the Grand Canyon area along the same lines, and you could probably find things that are shaped like anything in the Grand Canyon. You know, just because something is in another part of the world doesn't mean that it didn't exist here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
how about these? How about the
Oh, finger.
fingers? Look at how small that man looks in between those fingers there. You know, that's just that's incredible. There have been so many things
Mm.
that have been hidden from us that we've lost so much knowledge. Here's another one. Okay, you all heard of the Nazca Plains? You know,
Oh, yeah.
there's literally dozens upon dozens upon dozens of them. Okay,
The
why?
Nazca lines. Yep.
Who has successfully told us in science that these things are designed for certain things other than to see them from space?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many, and I can go on and on and on about things that are hidden. Here's another thing that's hidden.
Wow.
You know, yes, Billy monsters exist. You know, I mean, there's no end to it. And you need to. We need to really start to get to the point where, um, because by God, they work for us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
all the taxes we
Yep.
pay. All the donations we give. You know, they pretty much work for us. And until
They don't like to tell
we
you that.
all agree exactly.
Yeah, you're
Go
right, buddy. No, you're 100% right, and that's why I always tell people you need to wake up and remember the truth. That we have the power. We are in control.
Exactly.
No one, no government, no state, no city, no county, no entity, no person is above the Constitution. Nobody can take away, and nobody can do anything about it. When the Constitution is the law of the land, and we have to remember that the people that's supposed to uphold that Constitution, they work for us.
Exactly.
They're servants to us. We are not servants to them. They are servants to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yes, dude.
let me see here. Let me go back to the chat.
Yeah, I was kind of glancing over it because I missed a few of them. I believe, Freaky, I believe it is white sand on the Nazca lines. I can't remember. It's either white sand or white rock. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I believe it's sand.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to give 100% answer because I couldn't remember. I need to get back into studying that. I haven't studied that in a few years. That is, all that stuff is very interesting, very intriguing. And the fact that, like you pointed out, you can only see it from space, from above. What does
Yeah,
that tell you? I mean,
exactly. Well, why? The main thing is why? Why, if science is such a factual thing, okay, and such a a a way of discerning something to prove it, why hasn't science proved that the Nazca planes are used to only see from space? What kind of a ceremonial connection could it have been? You know, does it represent the people that lived there? I mean, how old is it? I don't think anybody's ever determined how old the Nazca lines are.
I guarantee you they know.
So,
They're not going to say it, though.
I mean, then you're dealing with entities like, and I hate to say this, and I don't mean to offend any, people that are Catholic, but you have the Vatican that hides things in their archives.
Mm-hmm.
The Vatican hides things in their archives. The Smithsonian
Yep.
hides things in their archives.
Yep.
NASA hides things from us. You know,
Yep.
our own government hides a lot from us.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot. You know,
Oh, yeah. And that's the
I don't
thing. I
know.
mean, look
I
how
just,
many. Oh, yeah.
go ahead.
Look how many ancient ancestors we've had that talk about we came from the stars. So many
Right.
of them
Exactly.
throughout history has said the same thing. Even our Native Americans here, even their stories, a lot of theirs say we come from the stars. The Aborigines did, the Sumerians did. I mean, throughout history, they all talk about how we come from the stars. So when you see the Nazca lines there, that shows you that that's a very good possibility that we came from the stars. And that freaky, that's a good point. I mean, you're absolutely right. That is a very good possibility. I mean, look how big the Giants were back then. You know, could have been that. Yeah, I'd lean. I mean, me personally, I lean more towards that was to signal where the people how do I want to put it? The people from other stars where we originally came from. It was a symbol for them. But you're absolutely right. Giants could have done that.
Yeah. I think that similarity to the space shuttle and the booster rockets was just spot on. Though,
Hmm.
you know, the, and it's like the Egyptian hieroglyphs in Egypt that show the helicopter. You know,
Hmm.
it literally shows a sleek military helicopter.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Back in those days, if they didn't experience it or didn't see it, you know, is it because
Hmm.
somebody time traveled with a helicopter? Is it because maybe, just maybe, we're building civilization on top of civilization on top of civilization, and every 6,000 years or so it recycles itself and starts over again?
Hmm.
I mean, think about it. When the last military veteran of World War II is deceased, how long will it take for people to forget that war ever existed? How many
Yep.
generations?
Oh
That's
yeah.
my point.
Yeah, and the thing too is a lot of people forget how many stuff we've dug up. I mean, hammers, watches, clothing, suits, and everything that's supposed to have been dug up that was thousands of years ago, but it's modern stuff. How did modern stuff get down in a layer of dirt that's thousands of years old, folks? stuff like that has been dug up. Watches, spacesuits, hammers, that stuff has been dug up in layers of dirt that was from thousands of years ago. Nikola Tesla is known, and they don't like to talk about this, but has been known to have built a time machine. So time travel is very much a possibility. I mean, granted, I know what is that Yahoo's name? It's supposed to be the famous scientist. He's in a wheelchair. What's his name now? I forgot. Uh, uh, I can't remember his name off the top of my head now. I'm brain farting, but he's that famous scientist that's in a wheelchair. I know he did a thing about time travel. He's like, well, if it's true, then I left this message so they'd come. Just because you leave a message, regardless of who you are, doesn't mean they're going to show. They're not going to put that stuff on TV, folks. So think about that. When he tries to use that to discredit time travel, don't ever take that to heart. Don't ever
Stephen
take that to heart.
Hawking's.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. Stephen Hawking. Yeah. So I mean, you got to think outside of the box. Don't think about what they tell you. They purposely mislead you. You have to think outside of the box. Exactly. Prospecting, and there's plenty of new evidence now being dug up to show that they had lights, they had working latrines, they had a lot of modern conveniences that we thought of was not available to them back then. They're finding now. They knew how to convert salt water
Washing the
and
backside.
heat into energy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got to be able to see. Got to work them lights that they had. I mean,
exactly.
It's just amazing to me that we're finding out all of these certain things about our past, about humans in the past, and now we're finding things that are literally built on top of each other. Like take for instance, L.A., Los Angeles. Okay, Los Angeles was built on top of another civilization. That civilization has ruins underneath the ground in LA, and those are reptilians. It's been proven. There has been people down in there that have received the evidence that these beings existed and probably still do exist. Okay. So, for them to say that, there's not a possibility of the Grand Canyon to have a hidden Egyptian pyramid in it or a sphinx or something along that lines is ridiculous, because to me science is limiting itself, know and God bless his soul, Stephen Hawking's, although he was a brilliant man, he was very naive on several things. Okay. And the one thing he was naive upon was to think that mankind wouldn't surpass mankind's past, to find out that it actually happened a certain way. He never really speculated that time travel could happen. Experiments have worked in the past. We've all seen the pictures. We've all heard the experts, or the so-called experts, So, why couldn't it? Why couldn't time travel happen?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean you're right, and it's like we've said on this show and I've said on mine, civilization is built on the bones and the dust of the ones before us. That is, you can go throughout the world and find evidence of that. Anywhere you go. Anywhere you go, you can find that. Because it's true. Hey Robin, we literally our civilization is built on the bones and the dust of the people prior to us. So, that stuff in Los Angeles, Russia, I mean, throughout the world is living proof of that statement right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Robin.
I would agree
Don't
with
get
War
washed away.
Criminal on this.
Oh yeah.
Let me see here.
Yeah, I mean, War Criminal, that is a very good possibility. You know, the fallen angels were known as the guardians, right? Well, if you study the guardians and you study the Anunnaki, they are one and the same. Everything they talk about the guardians is talked about with the Anunnaki. So, I mean, absolutely, then that's all in that area. It's all in that area. So, I mean, what you're saying has a lot of weight to it because it's a damn good possibility. It's a very good theory, and it's one that I can grasp onto. You're absolutely right, buddy. Oh, my coffee's about out. Time to switch to water. Come here. You are needy this morning, buddy. Come over here. You know you can't. There you go. That's the only way you're gonna get up. Come on. Come on. You want up here? Come over here. There you go. Come on. There you go. Come say your highs. You know, you're sitting there bouncing around like a little Mexican jumping bean. Yeah. Oh, but it's the only one that can wrap my head. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's true. So, I mean, that is definitely one way to look at it, War Criminal. I mean, it's like we've said often tonight. You know, you look at things at different angles. That is definitely an angle worth looking at.
Yeah, we're not
Okay,
claiming to be experts on here, and we're not claiming to know all the answers. In fact, that's why we have this forum with all of our extended family, is to talk about this type of information, to see if we can draw some truths out of it. But it just seems like for every one little ounce of truth we pull out of it, that the powers that be, disinformation people, get back into the knit of it, and start dishing the stuff as far as being, conspiracy theory, and oh, we're crazy, we're this, that, and the other thing. Well, that's fine. Label me crazy. I really don't care. Alls I know is I
Mm-hmm.
was always taught from day one to question everything, plain and simple.
Don't.
You know, make your own decisions and opinions about things, and then see how others react to it.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
but
remote viewing is to me, remote viewing is kind of I mean, it's it's stuff that Native American medicine men and holy men, Wachashawakans, have been doing for hundreds, if not thousands, of years. And that's the whole concept of manifestation is also through remote viewing. Um, if you remote view something enough times, you can pretty much put yourself within that area that you're remote viewing. So, you know, astral projection, yes. But what happens when mankind develops the ability to think of a place and transport themselves there? What's to say that mankind doesn't get so close to the environment here in this world that they discern an energy from this world to give them the ability to open up a portal to go someplace else? You know, the same thing that people discuss about Bigfoot and Dogman and lizards disappearing in a flash of light. It's the same concept. What's to say mankind can't have that ability? You
oh
know,
yeah.
so
Yeah, I mean, look at the 12 triangles around the world. I mean, the ancients always talk about they were energy areas used to portal from one area to another. It was a means of transportation from one side of the earth to the other. Inky, before he became evil, was described as going from one side of the earth to the other to teach people how to build. is that a result from him? I mean, everything is possible. Yeah, they do prospecting.
Yeah, they can say we're crazy all they want.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I stopped caring what people think. I really did. I live a much happier life once I stopped caring what people thought about me. I'm not me to please other people. I'm me for me. You take me how I am, you either like me or don't. That's I got to that feeling a long time ago. Became a much better person that way. You stink. I need to give you a bath.
I'm starting to get short-winded here, guys. So I want to go through and thank everybody for being here, though. War Criminal 7, Penny Van, Prospecting, Robin, all you guys, Juno. What else we got? It won't let me go back to check. Look at that. Good old StreamYard. Not allowed to do what we have to do. Wow.
Penny.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Penny. I'll thank you too. Yeah, it's we're living in a very interesting time, folks. So, I mean, I am truly blessed to be able to come on here with such a phenomenal man as William, and the fact that I'm able to come on here with him, do this stuff.
I'm just a human being, man. I ain't nothing special.
You are to me. You're very dear to me, my brother. I'm honored. I really am honored to come on here and be able to do this stuff and to help other people see things at a different view. I mean, it's a blessing. It's a blessing and an honor to be able to do this stuff. And the fact that we have such a good community here that interacts very well. We're not always going to see things the same eye to eye, but that's what makes us great. That's what makes us close. That's what makes us special, is that we can see things from different point of view and still come out happy and still come out knowing with new knowledge. I mean, it's phenomenal. It is phenomenal.
Yep.
What you can do, what this program can do, and what our followers here can do. That is just, hey, let's let the monsters in. Ryan, how you doing, buddy? It's just,
hey.
I love this. I love this. And this is the way all of us out doing this stuff needs to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You're welcome.
Thank you, War Criminal. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's just one thing. Sorry, I was looking at my pipe bag over here, and I just saw like this orb come across it. And what I mean by my pipe bag is my real pipe bag.
Yeah.
So it's not a little, like pipe. It's my ceremonial family pipe. So
Jenny. Yes, Ryan, he is. Yes, Ryan, he is. I want to have to take him in. This little guy is a pain in the butt to give a bath to, but I found if I hop in the shower and hold on to him, I can give him a bath a whole lot easier than trying to hold him in a sink. So he gets to the point where he has to jump in the shower with me from time to time so he can get a bath. And smelling him, he needs a bath.
Oh, Juno, thank you, brother. Anyways, I started to talk about the pipe and how the pipe is connected with, the medicine people to see the one way to look at a medicine man or a holy man, a Wachashawakan, is to figure that they are basically a piece of conduit. Okay, they're a conduit that connects Sacred Mother Earth to Tukashila, grandfather, and the medicine people are that conduit, kind of like well, I don't think there's anything in the world that can compare to medicine people. To tell you the truth, um, because even the Pope is set in one way and one way only. With medicine people, it's kind of a way that you walk in life to where you learn from participating in the environment with the animals and stuff and nature, the flora and the fauna around you, and you base your principles and your observations give you your outlook. Okay. um there's only so many times, this is, my dad told me once that there's only so many times that you walk past a beggar on the street, that doesn't have anything, holding out a cup or his hands to put some money in. When you go back and you finally had enough, you're either A, going to put money in that cup to help him, or B, you're going to tell him to get out of here, you know, and get a job. You know, that's the two ways to see that situation, you know. And for me to walk past somebody that is, whether it's a need spiritually or whether it's a need financially or whether it's a need, to just be around the same like minds, like everybody in the chat. That's the way the connection's supposed to be. We should be that conduit. Each and every one of us need to be that conduit from our environment to the creator. Okay. And until we get a grip on that, um, we're going to be so limited on things that we are gifted by the creator, certain aspects of seeing things and hearing things and manifesting things. Do I believe we could do what Jesus did and turn water into wine? Well, I don't I don't I don't think so, but I mean, I'd give it a heck of a try. It may take me a couple years to ferment the grapes and stuff and to mix them with the sugar and all that. Oh no, that's moonshine. I'm sorry. Um, anyways, I'd rather make moonshine than wine. Uh,
Okay. Sorry, I had a text message pop up about Lodge this Thursday. Uh,
hmm,
yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I mean, you're great, and I learn a lot from you because a lot of my Native American, my family, even though we're Norse and we're Native American, my family are Mormon. Uh, my we left the Mormon order when my grandpa stopped paying tithes and my grandma got on birth control. We were expelled from the Mormon order. Most of my family are Mormon. Some are traditional Mormon, some are New Age Mormon. So I mean, I never grew up learning my true history. Everything I learn is from my own research and stuff like that. So whenever I got someone like you that helps me to learn the things that I'm trying to learn, and it's not me doing my own research, I latch onto that stuff. I love that. So I mean, that's what makes you guys. It makes you great. What makes the show great because this is how we learn, folks. We learn. Yeah, they do, Penny. This is why I love this stuff and we do this stuff is we're always hoping to educate each other and not just because even your own research you could be misled. So when you have other perspectives on things that helps you to sorry my dog started barking at something so I was trying to look. It helps you to see things at different perspectives which grows your wisdom. And wisdom comes with age. What are you guys? That is an angry bark.
there's probably some Mormons out there in the field.
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. That is
uh,
definitely Thor's angry bark. He is not liking something that's out there.
the Mormons actually. the Mormons, since you used to be one, all have always said, at least the Mormons that I've interacted with, have always said that they think that my people were the lost tribe of the Israelites that sinned and our skin turned red.
Mm-hmm. Well, you remember I was talking, was it on my show or was it, I think it was this one here. It might have been mine. You know, when you know about the five civilized tribes, with the Cherokee as part of the five civilized tribes, right? If you when they done a DNA test on them, they came back with Jewish DNA. So the probability of them being the lost tribe of Judah is very high possibility. So I mean, I agree with that is a very good statement. My God, dude, what is? I'm not seeing anything. He is not liking what's out there.
That's
Folks, I'll
probably
be
something
right back.
small. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna get ready to wrap this up, anyways. So,
Okay.
everybody,
I'll
if
be
you could help support the channel by sharing this out and liking it, and drop a comment. If you want, you could do a super sticker or something. That'd be fine too. But or go to the YouTube and subscribe. Go to um, bonfire.com/store/ into the red rabbit hole and get your t-shirts and your mugs and your hoodies and whatnot. Eric's got some things too on his site. But yeah, we could really use these mornings to really get to the truth of things, guys. And that's why we're here. The whole thing that happened with the container ship and stuff in Baltimore. You know, and there's so many things that we're seeing leading up to that gave us hints that was going to happen. Um, like the magazine cover. You all Google that magazine cover about the container ship wreck, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, I should have snapped a picture of it and brought it on, but when you guys see that picture, you're going to freak out because you're not going to know how they knew, and they knew everything in that picture was going to happen. So, but anyways, Eric, let them know what's going on with you. Tonight we have Into the Red Rabbit Hole at 10:30 tonight Eastern. Okay, so just so you know, go ahead, Eric.
So tonight I've got campfire chats with Eric and guest. That is a laid back, relaxed show that you can come on and you can talk about your encounters. If you want to do a video, talk about your encounters like we did with Corey last week, I'll send you a link. You're more than welcome to come on, and we'll hear your encounters and share your encounters and talk about them. Yeah, yeah, agreed. And that's what that show is about tonight. It's awesome. If you just want to talk about and chat, we can do it that way. So I'm looking forward to that. Now that Byways of Bigfoot is out, the documentary I was a part of on Linda Eastburn's YouTube channel, I can share a lot of the stuff that I found of my possible Bigfoot evidence. That will be tomorrow night. Now, I had to change my time from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock because when I'm getting off at 10 o'clock at night, it's taking me about an hour and a half to wind down, and I got to be up at 0500 to go to work. So I've changed my Sunday night show times from 8 o'clock to 6 to see if that'll help me kind of wind down better and get some more sleep. And Roxanne could get off my butt about sleeping. I know she's not in right now, but if she hears it later, I always hear it. She's always on me because I have not been sleeping a lot lately. I've been working on evidence and stuff like that, trying to get this paranormal investigation that DA and his family and I did out there to you guys. Yeah. But so that would be tomorrow night, and I've got so much stuff that's a possible evidence of Bigfoot that I may end up having to do two different shows. I'm not sure I can get through it all on one show. We'll give her to go college try, but hey Ray, how you doing, buddy?
Hey Ray, good to see
But
you.
we'll be talking about that Sunday night at 6 o'clock. Um, every now and then, like yesterday or Thursday, I did a Easter special. I like doing that. It was just a last minute deal. I didn't have time to get it put out there. It was just kind of a last minute deal because I haven't done one since Christmas. So I've got that on there. I am still having issues with my author's YouTube channel. I was trying to upload commercials on my two of my books that's out on audio, and then it will not let me do it on that channel. So I had to put them on the Bizarre and the Unknown channel. So I'm to the point now. I'm about to throw my hands up with the other one. Say, I know I've got 29 followers on my author one, but I'm probably just I just don't know. I guess I'm just going to put it all on this channel. I just don't know. It's aggravating me very much. I was working my butt off the last 2 days trying to get stuff uploaded on my author's YouTube channel, and it just ain't doing. I've tried to keep the two separate, but I may not be able to. So if you get a chance, go to the Bizarre and the Unknown on YouTube. That's where I post some stuff on there. It's where I do a lot of my videos on and my lives. Yeah, people, let's hit that like, share, and subscribe. This man deserves it. Definitely do it. Definitely, man's is a wealth of knowledge. Hit that like, subscribe, and share button. But yeah, so we got that going on this weekend. It's going to be a good time. I do have a bonfire store that I've been working on. Currently, right now, it's stuff with my the Bizarre and the Unknown. I'm thinking about putting some of my book stuff out on the designs as well. I have a author's Facebook page. If you find it, it's under E.D. Testerman, I believe it is. No, just under Eric Testerman. If you go there, I have got photos that I put out there. My readers and that read my book, I love having you guys interact with me when I'm creating content for my book. Like I'm starting to design characters for each of the books. Also, when I do a book cover, I like your guys' opinions. I write my books for you. I don't write my books for me. Now, writing my books is good therapy for me. Do not get me wrong, but I write my books for you guys. So when I have you guys interact, like when I do lives where I'm editing my books or working on my books and you guys interact, I love that. When I come up with artwork for my books and I let you guys, I'll come up with the ones that I like the most. I put them on there and let you guys choose which one is which. So I love that. So right now, currently, I've got two different Odin designs that I came up with. The design that wins first place will be the Odin for the Saga Grimson series. Second place Odin will be for the Two Brothers series that I'm writing right now. So go on there, find me on that. You'll see my picture like this. Well, I'm usually wearing my sunglasses. I don't have contacts right now, so I'm wearing my glasses. But you'll see me in my hat, in my contacts. I'm in a black coat. That's my author's Facebook. Go there, check me out, follow me on there, and let's get your votes in. Yeah, I love it when you guys interact with me when it comes to that content. I mean, any content, writing or podcast wise, I love the interaction I have with you folks. That's why you guys are the greatest people on this planet, because you guys make everything a blessing, and I just love it. I really love it. So that's some places where you can find me.
Join us tomorrow morning too, Eric.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, our subject is going to be none other than the big hairy man himself, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yahweh. Let's see what other names. Yaren, Hairy Man, Wood Booger, Wild Man,
Skunk Ape,
the Skunk Ape. Oh my God, man, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's a million different names for him, but basically he's big, tall, hairy, and can be mean. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about, Native Americans and how we perceive them and all this. It's kind of going to be like the second part of my Bigfoot series that I released. So tomorrow morning, we're going to get into Big Harry himself. Okay. And I don't mean Harry. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I do mean Harry and the Hendersons. So anyways, we will see you all tomorrow morning. please subscribe to the channel, like, heart, and share this out if you guys can. And we'll see you all tomorrow morning. Everybody have a happy Easter, and God bless.
Peace, love, and blessings.